the Prickly Pear Show.
I'm Ron Furman. You're not.
I'm Lee Rhapsody, and I'm glad you're not.
We have a nice guest next to us.
What? Mm-hmm. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Why do we need to curse all the time?
My hair. Like, I couldn't see him. I literally... Who's we? I'm the only one cursing, okay? Same reason why... I'm not even going to go there. But you see, I couldn't see him because of my hair. It's so big that I couldn't even see him.
Welcome to the Prickly Pear Show. It is Sunday. We're very happy that you guys are here.
February, what?
Today is the 18th? No, 17th. Right now it's 17th. I think the All-Star game is on, so if you guys are watching basketball, enjoy. But if you want to listen to us...
Is Vince Carter playing?
Yeah, Vince Carter's playing, exactly. Why would Vince Carter be in the All-Star game? Actually, he might be next year because they'll give him like this veteran status to play.
What do you mean veteran status?
He's 40 years old. Yes,
like...
you're old too. So yes, you might think Vince Carter. Vince Carter still plays.
Is Allen Iverson still playing?
Yeah, stop it. I know you're trying to get to me and it's working. So today we have an amazing show. We have a broker. And we're told a real estate broker and not a real estate agent.
Macias.
I got it. Look, these are the types of things we're going to be learning on the show. The difference between a broker and an agent and how things are going.
And I'm always glad to learn something other than, well,
yeah,
a bunch of useless nonsense.
That's right. Yeah, this is the show for that. That's what you have your podcast for, your useless nonsense.
Well, that's not useless nonsense. It's just stuff that I can't talk about here because I like to swear.
Yeah, but you still do it. So, it's funny. I'm actually getting messages from people going, "Is she really going to continue to curse on a regular basis?"
Fuck you guys.
Well, I guess you got your answer. So I guess yes, she will continue to swear, curse, whatever you want to do. I'll bring us in.
When you guys get your own show, you could do whatever you want.
It's like that. Why don't you bring us in? What's today's topics? Maybe we're going to get started, then we're going to move right into
okay, so
Max.
Let's first go through Valentine's Day. What did you guys do for Valentine's Day? First, we're going to ask the non-married man, the single man, what did you do for Valentine's Day?
Nothing really.
Really?
Yeah.
Not even with the puppy?
Nothing really. No.
You didn't get the puppy anything?
I worked.
You didn't get yourself anything?
No.
Not even like a nice pay-per-view movie?
Nope. Nothing.
Really?
Yeah, nothing. It's just another day for me. So, what are you going to do?
At least I would have Netflixed and chilled with myself.
Yeah, no, I do that all the time. So I didn't need Valentine's Day to remind me how single I am.
In that case, you take care of yourself well.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. What did you do?
Max,
we should ask.
What did you do?
I spent it with my children and my wife.
Aww. Did you get them anything?
Sure. Chocolates, flowers.
Did they get you anything?
The kids got.
You have two daughters. Did you get your two daughters?
Absolutely. I took care of them individually.
Wow, beautiful.
My lovely wife.
Flowers.
Took care of me and I.
March 14th is your Valentine's Day,
and
for me every day is Valentine's Day.
For you every day, steak and yes.
Don't you think I know about that? I know about.
I know you know about that. That's for sure. But I wasn't.
Ladies, get with it.
Yeah, March 14th. Look out for it. So, what did you do during Valentine's Day?
A couple of things.
Okay.
I worked.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came home and my house was clean and the dishes were done and he bought me flowers and then we went to this really good restaurant that I've been waiting to go to for like the last year.
Okay.
It's a Chinese restaurant, but it was a sushi place as well. It was really good. And on Friday we went to the Keg as well. And that was yummy.
So you continue to celebrate the next day.
Yeah, because I really wanted steak.
Here, Max, this is really what it looks like. So now you get to kind of see yourself and see your beautiful face.
Oh my God, it's Attack of the Flowers.
Yeah, it's actually you would see in the background. It's really prickly pears that turn into flowers, and I think it gives a nice. There's a live video interruption. I wonder what's going on.
Are we being interrupted by porn?
By porn? Why would we be?
I don't know. Don't you remember the episode of Friends where Chandler and Joey got free porn and they were afraid to turn the TV off?
No.
You remember that episode? That was so good.
No.
I still wonder if they kept, like, throughout the years, I still wonder if they still had that channel. You know what I mean? Like, it just, a little piece of me always wonders.
I feel bad because even though I know I watched Friends, like, I don't know it the same way I know Seinfeld. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember bits and pieces.
Wait,
but...
speaking of Seinfeld and Friends, as a house specialist and a mortgage specialist and a real estate specialist, of sorts, how much would those places really go for? They would not be able to afford those places with their kind of salaries, would they?
Friends, no, but that's why they're...
And Seinfeld wouldn't either.
Why not?
He
He's
had
a
a
comedian.
full, he had a full kitchen. And
So?
he wasn't like a known comedian.
It was a one-bedroom, and he was performing all over.
Him and George barely got their show off. Remember?
Yeah, but he was a comedian. He was still a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, but that's a big apartment for a stand. You know what I mean? In New York City.
No. But he wasn't. Was he in Manhattan? I don't remember if he was in Manhattan even. Like, was he?
It doesn't matter.
I think he was, but I don't think he was like in a known area because they always have to get places.
It's where all the artists hang out. I think is where.
Soho.
I think it's based out of Soho.
I know he's from Queens, and like he talks about being in Queens, and that's where George Costanza's family is from.
Right. And
the reason I know that he's also a Mets fan, and Mets are Queens because that's where they play.
Didn't he work for the Mets as well?
No. So that's George. Worked. No, he worked for. How can you say? He worked for the Yankees.
Oh, the Yankees.
The Yankees. They were the Yankees. Yeah. So you see, bits and pieces about Seinfeld.
Elaine worked for.
She did not work for the Mets.
No, but she worked for something having to do with entertainment, didn't she?
Well,
we still never really
nothing
knew what
to.
Elaine did.
What do you mean advertising?
Advertising.
She was doing. Yeah, she worked for different places. Don't you remember the Sox?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, she worked for like a bunch of rich guys, and she worked for advertising. We knew what she did. It's Kramer that we didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, well, Kramer had his own show. We knew what he was doing.
Well, that's
he was a pimp.
Yes, he was. There was one part where he was. Yes, I remember that episode. Actually, that was an Israeli actor that was with him at the end of the show.
Of the pimp episode?
Of the pimp episode, when he gets caught or whatever.
That was a good episode.
Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about the topics that you've put together for us today.
Well, we're going to go from the ground. You know what?
You want us to pay respects?
Let's pay respects to a couple of things, and
so
then we'll go through the rest of the topics.
Unfortunately, a friend of mine or a really good acquaintance has passed away last week, and it's been very tough. And Tyson, may you rest in peace. He was a wonderful person. There's certain people in life. We weren't that close, but he was my sister's really, really good friend, and I used to see him regularly. And he's just one of those people with amazing energies and just someone that you love. You can't say anything bad about, and a pure talent. Like that guy played for 4 different bands. Great guitarist. Just an amazing person, and passed away too soon, suddenly. And my condolences to all of his friends and his family. And it's been a little bit hard. Sometimes it's funny. I question myself whether do you really need to feel bad if you didn't know somebody that well. And I think once you start thinking about death, you start thinking too much about your own family.
Is lost. It's always
but you start thinking about those that are close to you, and now it's family. It's family day coming up, so there's just all these thoughts that kind of go through your head. But I want to send a love out to Tyson's family and friends. He was just a wonderful human being, and if he's hearing us right now, we miss you, buddy. So I don't want the show to focus on that, but. I wanted to put that out there.
Yeah.
So
it's been pretty rough week. In Toronto, there was an Amber Alert this week.
Right.
And,
do we want to talk about the complaints that people had about Amber Alert?
We want to say rest in peace to the little girl.
Definitely.
And prayers to her family as well.
Absolutely.
It was just a horrific thing that happened to her on her birthday, nonetheless.
And her father, where they're saying, I don't know what the evidence, what type of evidence they have.
I say allegedly, it just
right. Yeah, no, it's
it's
tough.
But what I really wanted to kind of touch upon was when I woke up, because I actually was unfortunately sleeping right through those Amber Alerts, and when I woke up, I saw them, but then when I opened up my Facebook, I saw on like the news headlines that people were complaining. They were calling 911 to complain about the Amber Alerts going off and waking up, waking them up or whatever. And I was just horrified, thinking like how a person could even think about, calling 911 for not helping.
It says something about our society in some ways, like what we complain about and what, literally the type of society we've become, where it's like when real problems hit, you see the real faces of people. You're seeing who cares and who doesn't know. I was up. I happened to be up at that time, I don't remember why I was up, but I think I took the dog for a walk in the middle of the night that he needed to, and I turned on the TV. It was on TV. It was on my phone. It kept going on, and then saying that to ignore it. I could see that it's annoying, and clearly there's like families who have kids, and it wakes them up, and it breaks a routine. But look, wouldn't you, if God forbid something happened to your family, would you not want our society to be on alert, to try and help you out? And as I said, like we complain about the dumbest things. Our society has become a bunch of crybabies. When it comes down to the real stuff, we don't really care. I saw more negative than positive about something that affects all of us. And it says something, and it's very sad.
To me, I was just even thinking, like, if you had the audacity to even pick up the phone and complain about 2 little alarms going off and waking you up or interrupting your day, then you can afford to pay $5,000 to $10,000 for disrupting that 911 line and blocking that phone line for maybe that could have been, someone saying that they saw that car that, the little girl was in before. Like,
it's nothing to
ridiculous.
Do with it. It's just
ridiculous.
It's since like the internet and all that, people just feel like they have the right to complain about everything, to give their opinions, and right now we're just hearing it, we're seeing it.
I think the point of the alert is to reach the person who does care.
Yeah.
Not the ones who don't care. It's to disregard the ones who don't care.
But
focus on the ones who care.
But we should all care.
So if you saw that kid walk into a convenience store, or you'd able to recognize them, you would make a move and call the police.
Right.
It's to reach the ones who care, not the ones who don't.
I think the point is to reach everyone, and everyone should care. Like it's become a part of, like, I hate to say this, a part of North American society to not care, to kind of like turn the blind eye. Someone is fighting or there's a situation going on, for us not to get involved. It's just easier to not see, not be a witness, because, then someone will be calling me, I have to be a witness, I have to go to court, and it's just too much on me. And it's like, that's what makes our society function, the fact that we do have to care for one another.
Isn't there, I don't remember which country it was, where if you stop and help the person, you're liable for them for the rest of their life or something like that. I remember reading it somewhere.
It's possible. I don't
know. Like a couple of years ago. I don't remember which country it is. I want to check my phone right now, and I might want to read it, but I don't want to read it in case it offends anyone. But
is something going on with our feed? Because for some reason, like, it keeps showing.
It's showing here, but if you turn the video on there, because the internet here is not.
Okay, so then
are we having dead air or not?
There's nothing I can do with this because the keyboard for some reason is not working. Yeah, so if you can, I'd appreciate it.
I wanna talk about this. Have you guys? Well, we were gonna say, have you? You have a sister, right?
I do, yeah.
Do you have any siblings?
I do.
Yeah. Siblings. Okay.
You don't have to share too much. Just,
no. We're not gonna. This is just a straight question. Have you ever had an argument with your said sibling?
Yes.
Like a really bad argument where you're like, I effing hate you.
Not lately, thank God.
But
yes,
of course. In your lifetime, you have.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like so angry that you didn't speak for like a couple of days to a week to X amount of time.
Sure.
Okay. How about you?
Sure.
Okay. I have never, because my baby brother is 12 years younger than me, and we were just. You
didn't grow up together.
We didn't really, have that kind of thing. So I'm lucky. I had that with my mother instead. So for this, the reason I'm asking is this 32-year-old guy had an argument with his parent, or I think it was a sibling or whatever, and he burnt his house down over Cheez-Its. An argument over Cheez-Its.
Okay.
They didn't specify in further detail. It was in Atlanta. What kind of Cheez-Its they were? Were they discontinued Cheez-Its? Were they the Cheez-Its that were Swiss flavored?
Okay.
Or were the, aged cheddar? Were they the new Cheez-Its that had like the little chives in them? Or what kind of Cheez-Its there were? Because I think if we knew what kind of Cheez-Its there were, we would be able to further determine if this was actually in fact worth burning your house down.
I think the fact that you're even bringing it up as like we have to figure out what type of cheese it was in order to burn your house down already says something. Yeah, I know you're laughing. I know you're trying to like mock, but yes, the problem is there are sickos out there. It's a given. There's a lot of crazies, and it doesn't take much to get them.
I don't know about cheeses, but if somebody would take my slice of cake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
See?
Really?
See the cake.
Really?
What kind of
the
cake?
thing?
Wait, we're gonna have to. What kind of cake, Max?
Well,
what kind of cake?
Napoleon, most likely.
Napoleon? Russian. You have to say it. Not for the Canadians. We're not talking about a vanilla strawberry and chocolate cake. That's not what we're talking about.
I don't know why we're having
we're
having a bad
about,
feed. We keep going in and out for some reason.
But it's not here.
It's not here.
It's
Remember,
just on the
your
television.
shit.
So
Yeah.
this
It's on
Napoleon
this side.
cake, you
It's
guys,
really
it's
good.
amazing. It's a flaky cake with custard layers and more flakiness and more custard. It's delicious. It's divine. It's Russian, but it's named after a French dude. Don't ask.
French Italian.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Why don't we kind of get into the show? Meaning, like, because we have Max here.
Gas if you want.
Yeah, I think it's important to kind of get things in, and then maybe we can go back to the usual routine
Yeah,
of
let's
us
do it.
Going through the news with small cactus, big cactus, etc. Max, it's a real pleasure to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
A
So
broker.
excited.
I don't want to make the mistake, that's why I keep saying the same thing over and over again.
I just said a bunch of different things in hopes that I was correct in one.
Yeah, well, he hasn't slapped you yet, so you're good. You're in a good position.
No.
I think I'll be okay.
You'll be okay?
If you were sitting here saying the wrong things.
Oh,
that's
100, and I'll
another
allow
story.
him to. I'll allow him to. I know Max for many years, not just as a friend, but as a, I used to see your face everywhere, in terms of I want to say real estate agent, but now like I'm afraid to say it. But like,
No, there's
were
nothing
you
wrong.
not a real estate
No,
agent
there
before?
is. I am an agent still. It's
Still
just
agent.
a designation. Think
Gotcha.
of it like the difference between a legal assistant and a lawyer.
Right.
One is a higher education. Same thing between a salesperson and a
Right.
broker. Broker is a little bit higher education than a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
So a person who didn't do the further education is considered a salesperson, and one who takes on more liability will be considered a broker.
Beautiful. You've been doing
Also
this.
the one that makes more money.
You've been doing this. Well, spending more money,
And
more
depends on
time.
how hard you work.
And how good you are.
But you've been doing this for years. Like as I said, like over 20 years, if I'm
Just about
correct.
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years.
Holy.
I remember seeing like your face
That's
everywhere.
my whole
and
life.
right, of course. Seinfeld and Friends episode.
That's funny. I thought you were younger.
Yeah.
We'll keep that for another show.
It's just the maturity.
You're
level.
hired.
Not, so you've been doing it for so long, and I have a lot of friends that are now looking to get into the industry.
Right.
And it seems to me that the industry is completely changed over the 20 years.
True.
Like upside down in terms of like, I'm just going to ask a few things and maybe I'll have you
I'm
elaborate.
happy to help. Absolutely.
It's more along the lines of now, tell me if the rumors are true. They're saying that OREA, which is the, I guess it's the body, right? The governing body
Right.
over.
There's three, actually.
Okay, so one is OREA, the other one is?
CREA, which is the Canadian Real Estate Association.
Okay, and the third?
OREA is Ontario Real Estate Association, and then you have TREP, the Toronto Real Estate Board,
Okay.
which is more of a localized thing. And,
But if you want to go to school, like or like if you want to take the tests, you got to go through OREA,
you have to
right?
go
Because
through
I once did it. I failed the test by 1%, and I said enough. But I did it because I felt that I had a serious network and I was going to do it. But then I just couldn't see my face everywhere. Just couldn't see myself doing this anymore.
Right.
But what I want to ask you is, if somebody were to, before I go into it, I heard that they're no longer going to be just doing a test. It's now going to be mandatory for you to go to school.
I heard they want to make it an actual university.
Exactly,
course.
rather than just
Really?
doing the tests. So it's going to be a lot more difficult for people. And I asked, why would they do that? It's because it's saturated. Like it's getting to a point where almost every Joe Blow has their
Real
license.
estate
Right,
license.
and it's making saturated. They want to make sure that the right ones stick to it, and the ones that, not even they just spend the money, they shouldn't be around. So talk to me maybe a little bit about the changes that you've seen in the last 20 years.
Well, for starters, a lot of people think that coming to real estate, you're going to make lots of money right away. It's like any other business. You got to invest into it. You got to put time into it. You got to caress it. You got to do advertising, and you got to find your own clientele on top of paying the fees, the yearly dues that you have to do. Anybody coming into the business in the last year or so, while the market was depressed, is probably looking at a little bit harder time. But if you don't have much to do, and this is a field you always want to go into, it might be a good place for you to start. There's always room for business. There's a lot of business available for real estate, and there's different aspects. You could be a specialist in rentals. You could be a specialist in the residential part of it, the commercial part of it, the IC&I, which is industrial, commercial, and investment. So there's a lot of aspects you can come into. But the mistake that most people come into the business, they think that they're going to make money right away. And it's not a license to print money. What it is a license to start working or to start a business of your own rather than working for somebody else. Even though you register as a salesperson or a broker under an office, you don't have to, you don't think, we're considered as independent brokers.
Right.
So the office normally doesn't provide you with the leads. You have to find them yourself. So a lot of the work that you do has to comply with the fact or agree with the fact that you're going to do this work and you're going to find people. The people are not going to come running to you.
Right.
You're going to have to prove yourself. You have to tell them who you are, why they would you use you, show them that you're honest, that you're a straight shooter, and show them that you're knowledgeable in the market itself. When people come to you and they want to sell a house, you need to be able to explain to them how the structure works, what steps they need to take in order to sell the house.
So what are like...
So know your information.
Yeah, what are typical questions that, I mean, clearly most of us have, you know, our age, have bought a house or are looking into or thought about or, you know, at least has been there, right? Or a condo or whatnot. What are the typical questions or certain things that people look for in an agent?
Well, the first question they need to answer is, first of all, do they have a good credit score? And do they have a good job that they trust that they will have this job or another job or work on a permanent basis for the next year, 2 years, 5 years? Because when you buy a house, I always say buying a house is easy. Carrying the house is the hard part.
Right.
So the thing that you really need to know is that you have enough of a deposit maybe to buy the home if you're going to be a buyer in this market. Number two, you want to know that you're buying at a good market because you don't want to buy at the highest end of the market. Right. Because then you might take a loss. Nobody likes to take a loss.
Especially a week later.
Yes.
Yeah, but with real estate, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong because I'm clearly here to learn. Don't they say if like you're buying an investment, you're buying a house, like it's always going to go up, like it's never really going to go down? It's like I haven't seen it. Like I've seen it.
It's very untrue.
Plateau.
The real estate market is exactly like the stock market. It's never a flat line. It's always ups and downs. So once you come into some money, or you've made money, or you've collected money, you might want to wait for a good depressed market to be able to buy something. Like today is a depressed market. It's been depressed for almost 2 years. Right. I don't think it's going to continue this way. And if anybody has questions that they want to ask, I'll be happy to give you direct answers because I notice a lot of the messages that real estate agents give on a lot of shows, like City TV and other places, they give you mixed messages. They don't give you direct answers to what you're looking for. So if anybody has questions they want to ask me directly, I'm happy to answer them. As far as
we actually have, we have the ability to do it. Rev Stein, I know, is one of your clients. So working with you for many years. So Rev, thank you very much for tuning in today. But yeah, like what type of questions, again, would they want to know before purchasing? So you're saying that they need to have
what's
enough
a good
money?
down payment versus how much is the house worth?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, the first thing we need to do is qualify the person. As if I'm an agent, I need to qualify the person to know, number one, that they have what they need in order to purchase the home. So I need to find out, I need to qualify them. So I might suggest a mortgage broker to start with to make sure that what kind of home and what price range they could buy a home at compared to their own income. I personally don't need to know these items until they've spoken to a mortgage broker. The mortgage broker is going to talk to them about personal information to be able to get to that point, which I as an agent don't need to know. I just need to know as an agent what kind of price bracket they fall into so I can buy them a home. So some people will fall into, and today's prices compared to 10 years ago are pretty explosive if you think about it. I mean, 10 years ago, you probably tripled the price of about 10 years ago for whether it is a condo or a house. So we need to know what prices you can come into. The other thing is, this is a great buyer's market right now, for example. I mean, every market is different. And you can find some great options today for homes. I don't recommend for a lot of people to sell the home unless they find the house that they want, because their house might be depressed, and they would have to sell the house first, regardless. But I recommend regardless that a person sell the house first before they buy, but they should find the home or look at houses before even selling their houses to make sure that they can make the change, because the price difference might be large.
What I'm noticing right now, because I hear what you're saying, but there's a lot of people that are selling, for example, their house in Thornhill, which is a great neighborhood, if I'm correct. They have everything, and I'm going to get into it a little bit more. And then they're buying in like Bradford, Innisfil, and they just keep going north and north. I think, and I ask myself, like, you still have to drive all the way here. Is it really worth it to buy a house so far away?
That's a great point, and I'm going to tell you why that's a great point, because you should consider your time spent and money spent on the commute. how long it takes to get home, whether it's worth it to spend the extra 2 hours a day commuting back and forth,
right?
And how much it costs you to do it on a monthly basis, because you might spend $600 to $800 per month commuting to Barrie or Innisfil back and forth. But at the end of the month, that's equivalent to an extra $200,000 mortgage, in which you could have bought something maybe more local, closer to the city, and then you would have more time to spend with your kids and more time for your life, rather than spend most of your day on the road. How
quick are you as a broker, like, to tell people that hey, you have the opportunity to buy a much bigger house, far away? Like I used to say as a joke to people, hey, if I gave you a house that is like 5,000 square feet, would you buy it? And they're like, oh yeah. I mean, sorry, what do you think?
I'm gonna change that a little bit.
Okay.
I get exactly what you're saying, and I think that the answer to that is precisely, or as we say in real estate, location, location, location.
Right.
You want to know that you might be close to work because it's convenient.
Right.
And you don't want to do that long exposure to driving each and every day. Yes, you can get maybe more for your dollar as a size of a home further up, but most people buy location because they might be close to their work, schooling for their kids. That's an important one. Family, transportation, correct, absolutely.
Downtown.
Exactly. Commute to the downtown core. If you're traveling from Barrie to the downtown core in the morning, good luck. It's a 2.5 hour commute.
Right.
So, especially at around 8:30 in the morning.
Go train is a bitch, and you have to catch a certain hour in order to get to work for a certain time. And it's usually one train because it'll take you an hour and a half depending on which train you catch. And then sometimes you'll even get to work an hour and a half early so it's crazy things.
No, when I lived in Los Angeles, even my job moved at one point, and I had to move to be closer to the job, but I was renting.
Right.
But if I had a house or something, like, I couldn't just pick up and go. And now all of a sudden I got the place based on the location, and now I'm stuck. And I'm sure many people probably go through that, where they might have had a job, and with today's job industry, things change and offices move, and now you're stuck in Innisfil. And not to offend anybody who bought a place in Innisfil, it's just I don't get to see. They live so far. I have no reason to go up there unless it's the summertime.
Right, but you got to take into consideration also that a location that's closer to Toronto is going to drive up percentagely higher than a place that's further up. Meaning that if you buy a property for $1 million in Toronto, or a property that's $800,000 north of Toronto, the one in Toronto or close to Toronto or in the city of Toronto is going to grow faster than the $800,000 which is up north. Plus, you have a lot more people per square foot, so you're going to have a lot more buyers for this property when you're ready to sell it. And that's a big one too. On top of it, if you come into hard times, like depressed times, then what you can do is you can rent it out. And it's a lot easier to rent out when you have a high traffic area rather than go up north. But there's a lot less people, and a lot less people can afford to pay the higher rental fee as well.
And rent is astronomical
But the funny thing, when we're talking about this purchase and sale thing, a lot of people today, we know it's a buyer's market. That's obvious. The news talks about it. We know it as agents. We know it's a buyer's market. The question I'm getting quite often now is the seller's market. What's happening with the seller's market? Right? Because the prices are depressed. So from what I can see, and a lot of people are asking me, like, is this a good time to sell? Obviously, from the highs, which happened, well, you got to look a little bit of history to get to that point.
Okay.
So a little bit of history is about 3 years ago, let's say the average price in the Thornhill, North York area for a home was between $800,000 and $1 million for about 2,500 to 3,000 square feet. About 3 years ago, this would be. About 2 years ago, literally in 1 year, it flew from 800,000 to $1 million range, and it doubled. So you went 1.6 to $2 million.
Easy.
Now from that 1.6 million to $2 million, people say we lost a lot of money. Truly, they haven't lost money because in those 3 years it doubled.
Yeah.
But it went down from the 1.6 to $2 million range down to about halfway. So now it's about 1.2 range to 1.4 range. So it's not 1.6 to $2 million. People want the high. But that high is gone. So it literally came down a little bit to the middle range. So you're still up on your money, and people are still able to make the move. Now, people who want to move to a different home can easily make the move. Why? Because whatever they lost on their house, if they're downsizing, those houses lost as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they really haven't lost really on the value. For people who want to upsize, it's a great time to do it because larger homes lost more percentage-wise than smaller homes. But people who are looking to downsize, also a great time because they still made money from 3 years ago. The question for them now is, what do we do now? And my answer to that is there's three things that really affect the market that people don't think about, but truly they affect the market heavily. Number one is the stock market and how it's performing. Because a lot of people have money other than thinking of real estate. Other people have the money invested with the banks or in the stock market. Personally, nowadays you can trade yourself. The other aspect that I look at when you look at the long-term real estate market, you look at the who's in power. So right now the liberals are in power, and they put in all these rules and regulations, including something that everybody's probably familiar with is the foreign buyers tax. And people who come from overseas, and that was a major part of our market about 2 years ago. That's why the market was flying really, and why it doubled so quickly is because all these people from overseas were coming in from different places.
Yeah, like in my neighborhood, all Asians were buying.
Yeah, see, a lot of people think it's Asians, but truly it was also Latin America and Europe. There was a lot of investors who came into Toronto, area, and they were buying as far as Newmarket and Bradford because they consider that Toronto an area. And people don't take into consideration that hit the market pretty heavily when those rules came in. And if the conservatives might come into power, they might release some of these rules and regulations at the end of the year. So everybody should be watching for the end of the year and see whether the conservatives or the liberals, whether the liberals stay in power or the conservatives take over, because it's going to make a big change. In history, it's just known liberals come and they put more regulations. It's as far as business. I mean, on a personal level, there's some plus and minuses on both sides. But as a total for the real estate market as a whole and for any business in general, the conservatives released some of the rules and regulations. And even Doug Ford was saying that, and one of the reasons he got elected was because he was promising to remove or discount the foreign buyers tax, which would have made a big difference because then the investors would have came back into town.
Into Toronto.
Right?
Into Ontario, I should say.
Right. So this is some of the major things that affect the market and have a lot of influence on the market. Obviously, the elections, I think, are at the end of this year. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
Ooh,
November, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, and Amazon just lost New York. And so if the conservatives win, we can get Amazon to come back in Toronto because, remember...
Were they even on the list?
We were on the list.
I don't remember us being on the list.
To have a headquarters in Toronto for 25,000 jobs.
Well, we're definitely a technical hub of the world. And Toronto is now... Up to about 5-6 years ago, Toronto was considered a Canadian city, a large Canadian city. Now we're considered a world-class city, in which people want to come here, invest here, and it has to do a lot with the downtown core, the restaurants and the sports facilities, entertainment district, fashion district, and it's just, and even Robert De Niro, I don't know if you know, but he has a condo here downtown. Well,
Trump before the elections was buying like a lot of properties.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Trump Tower went sour, went belly up, and it's no longer there. It's a different building. Somebody took over, so they're not there anymore. But the general idea of the downtown core is very attractive to a lot of foreign buyers, and they're still very interested in Toronto. And they would love to be able to get back into the market, but they don't want to spend an extra 13 or 15% on top of the purchase price, on top of the land registry tax, which they already have to pay up front.
Which is basically a house up north.
Absolutely.
Like, it's the crazy thing is, you could get a house up north for like what, $225,000 easy. It's not going to be the greatest house in the world. You could get one, but you're going to be paying that in land transfer taxes, regular taxes, and window taxes in Toronto and in Vaughan now. It's crazy.
There are a lot of real estate agents out there, brokers. Like I know. I couldn't even tell you how many friends I have, and I think some of them may even be a little bit upset.
Everybody knows 5-6
right. Well, that I even brought you, on the show. How come you didn't talk to me? And blah blah. And it's everyone's going to say something, and I felt you'd be the perfect person for this. But like, how do you say no?
Hey, bro.
How do you say no to like a real estate agent? Like like I always feel like I have these friends like, oh, you come to me and. And I feel bad because I'm like, it's nothing to do with trust. It's more along lines of.
I don't think you should. Look,
like I'll be like, what's your experience?
We look at it, and you should look at it the same. I feel. If we're coming to you to talk about business, it's no longer just about a personal relationship.
Right.
Even though you feel personally attached to it.
Right.
And you're not really saying no to the person. What you're saying is, I personally am not interested at this moment. So if you're truly not interested, because if you were, you would ask, and you would probably want multiple opinions, and that's great. If you have these connections and you have different agents who can advise you as to what to do, you might want these different opinions because people look at it differently.
Does money really come down to it? Like, is it the percentage of what the broker would take? Is it more, like, I mean, I'll tell you why. Like, I have a lot of friends that deal with it, and like my parents at the time were looking to, play with their money when it came to real estate. And I didn't approach any of my friends. I just said, you guys do this, because I don't want it at the end to be about that I brought in the wrong person. But sometimes I'd bring like some of my friends who are in real estate into my house, and I just say, so how much do you think it's worth? Right? And it would give numbers, and my mom, would be like, did you hear the number that he was using? Why would I want to go with him? He's clearly just wants me to sell. He doesn't want me to get the most out of it. And that's where, and she goes, at the end of the day, like, it's not about making your friend happy. It's about making my pocket happy.
Right. Well, let's start let's talk about specific numbers. Since we promised that we're going to talk about specific things, let's talk about specific numbers. A normal commission rate is a 5% overall, which means the agent who's listing your house is going to take 2.5%. He's going to split that with his office or her office. And then the purchasing agent, which brings the client to buy your house, is going to also take 2.5%. That's an average. So the discount that you might receive might be on the selling part, because that might be your friend, and you want to talk to them about it.
Right.
And if you can't talk to your friend openly about what you want and what you're expecting from them as an agent, and maybe you receive a discount, then they might not be the kind of person for you, because you're unable to talk to them. I generally hate the idea of people saying, oh my God, I have 3 friends who are agents, I'm just going to use somebody outside who I don't know personally.
Right.
That really bothers me the most, because I feel like people who would take care of me would be the people close to me. Right. So me personally, I use for everything, whether it be renovations or plumbing or roofing or window guys, I use my friends.
Right.
I don't go out of it, because I can talk to my friends. I said, listen, how much does this cost me? I don't expect my friend to charge me expensive. I don't expect my friend to charge me little. What I expect from my friend is to charge me fair, but give me a great service for that money.
But that's the thing. Like, you see this person in a different light. But you see this
taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can trust the individual.
So we had construction. So when it comes to real estate, I just told my parents that I don't want to get involved because I know too many people. Let them deal with it. I really didn't want to get in, because I felt that, knowing my parents, they'll be like, your fault, right? Whatever it is, it's my fault. How do I not do it? You do it yourself. But what they did was, when it came to renovations, because we bought a property and wanted to renovate it, they went with a friend who gave them a really good deal. And now they're no longer talking. And now it's like, but that's the thing. Because before, you hang out with a person, you have drinks, and now, we have, you come into the kitchen and there's some little minor problems, and the person didn't want to fix it. And
nothing is harder than working with friends.
So that's.
But at the same time, I'm going to quote you a small saying that my friend says. He says, "Friends can't work with friends, but they have to." Why do they have to? Because who would support you more than your friend? Who would support you more than your family?
Yeah.
And if I don't show that loyalty to my friend, why would they show loyalty to me?
Understandable, but I'll give you an example. Like, I teach, right? And I tell people, like, hire me for the work that I do. You're not happy with my service? Let me go. I don't want to ruin the friendship, but at the end of the day, it's about me providing a great service. But sometimes, I'll give you an example. My best friend is getting into the business. My best friend, somebody who I trust with everything. Like, if I'm stuck somewhere, he's my first call. I don't know if I'd hire him as an agent, because I'd be like, you need to build a little bit of experience before you're able to represent me.
Look, in a case
and I feel bad.
Each case you can consider individually, and you might want a non-biased third opinion on this case. In this kind of case, if you were to ask me as a friend, Max, I have a friend, we're best friends, I will tell you I appreciate your loyalty to your friend. Not to me, because I'm your friend too. But this is a very close friend to you. So I would appreciate your loyalty to your friend. On the other hand I have 20 years experience.
Yes.
Would you trust a new doctor,
so I'm
or
going
would
to
you
tell
trust an old doctor?
I'll tell you things that people don't know.
Yeah.
You can hire both me and your friend.
Yeah.
We can work together. Maybe I can give your friend some pointers, and I might learn something new from the new education that's provided now by OREA.
Right.
In which I already forgot over the years. We help each other.
Right.
And it's a teamwork. And I always say it's teamwork even between seller and agent, where It's your job to prep the house. It's my job to list it. It's your job to make sure the lights are on when people come to see it. It's my job to call back and find out whether there was interest in the home and trying to convince them to bring them back to the house.
And you would
so
hope
in a
the
case,
other person
right,
would be willing as well.
Exactly. So I always make the follow-up phone calls. So this might be something that the other agent, your friend, for example, might not do because they either would be embarrassed. It's very hard to pick up the phone to people you don't know.
Cold call?
Cold calling. Right.
Yeah.
So
That's
I would
what I
say
did,
you
bitch.
can. Here's the answer. Direct answer to your question is you can hire your friend who's an experienced agent and your friend who is inexperienced. Together, they're going to put their heads together, and you're going to have double the exposure. And then your question would probably be, but the fee might be larger. It does not have to be. If you're planning to buy another home, the fee can still be discounted by your friends on both sides. Everybody makes a little.
Yeah.
We're not going to take advantage of a friend who's listing his home. We're going
to
to help him, and we might get a little bit of gravy when we buy you a house. And over there, we're going to say thank you to you, and we're going to give you maybe a nice gift back and say, you know, that was great. And what a great relationship. Nobody lost faith in each other. Everybody got to work together, and nobody got upset. And most people don't know that they have this choice. That's a crazy thing.
No, it's true. Like, I definitely don't, because like even when my sister was looking to, I told her the same thing. Like, you interview people, you bring them to your house, call anybody you want. And there were some friends who she called, and like, no, he's a really good guy, and I love him, but I think I can get a better deal with somebody else.
Right. And I have many cases in which even some of my ex-clients became agents. But everybody thinks it's like I said, it's a license to print money, and they actually learn very quickly how hard it is. It's very easy to sell maybe 1 or 2 or 3 houses in the first year, and then you got to go hunting for it.
Right.
And when you got to go hunting for it, and you got to go work for it, and advertise for it, spend your money, do the footwork, the cold calls. That's where people realize it's a business, just like any other business.
So it's taking me to the next part, which is, how are you guys, stepping up and showing your talents? Because the bottom line is, let's just say you sold 1,000 houses.
Right.
Great, but what are you doing now? Right.
You can't just
it's more
send those print pads to
no,
people's
but
houses.
yeah, like remember the magic guy, whatever, like used to say, like the magician, great,
refrigerator.
The big ear.
Yeah, exactly. Ready to listen.
And wink on.
Right, but like something that kind of brings people in. So today, with technology.
Technology is definitely a big thing. We're talking about the advertising part of it.
The advertising, yeah.
I think the question should be, why do some agents sell and some other ones don't?
Right.
Why are they lucky? Do they know more?
Right.
And I get that question regularly, and people would say to me, "We don't have to go with you. We go with anybody else." It's the exact same playing field, which actually it's not. And I'm going to tell you why. One agent might promise you to advertise.
Yeah.
Another actually advertises. Once one agent sells more on a monthly basis, so they allocate more of their income towards advertising, their other agents do.
Right.
Now, that's the money aspect of it. But it's more importantly, for example, I have agents, friends who haven't sold over a year. Jeez. And they're sitting and they're complaining. They're saying to me, Max, what should I do?
Are they
and I said,
overhead or is it
maybe look at what you're doing. I really can't advise them as to what I do personally. But here, since we're sitting here today, I can tell you a lot of things that I do on a general basis.
That they probably
I'm no longer in the newspapers. I'm 100% online. Okay, and I do things that other people don't do. When they tell you they advertise, that means they got to spend the money on it. Most people who haven't sold in a year don't have $1 to be able to advertise or allocate some money to do the advertising.
Right.
Okay, my advertising is consistent and it's always on, and it's dedicated towards that house that I'm selling. I don't mass advertise. See, a lot of people will take like a page, for example, right? Even on the internet, and advertise all their listings or all their office listings, which they're allowed to do. So it's not their personal listings; they're just advertising to communicate, to be able to receive some feedback on somebody else's listing to get some business towards themselves. I focus on that one house that I had. I listed 3 houses between November and December, slow months for everybody. I still listed something. And I was told, you're never going to sell this, you're never going to sell. I sold all of them. I've listed quite a few in between, and I've done some commercial work in between as well. And that works only because I do a lot of the advertising. I probably spend 3 times what a person makes a year in a salary on this advertising, but it works. And people will say it doesn't work. Now,
that comes out of your pocket.
It comes out of my pocket. The question really at the end of the day is, how do you prove that it works?
Right.
See, you have an agent that comes to your house and says to you, I advertise like everybody else.
Yeah.
You can't get business without advertising.
Yeah.
How do you advertise?
Right.
So I have a system in which I show how many websites, how much I use in direct marketing, and you have different things today, pay-per-click and all kinds of different ways of finding out information.
Right.
And what I'm able to show my clients is not just that. I will show them maybe as far as percentages, how many people have walked through their house, how many bookings there were, what days was the most showings, and which advertising worked the most. And out of that, my system tells me on that day, this advertising for this public, this demographic actually works the most, and then I'm able to do it. The way I can show it is, I can literally show. It's exactly what it is.
That's what it's supposed to be.
That's exactly
the algorithm
what it is.
behind it.
I show my clients what it is. Now, most people say, "Yeah, okay. Well, if he does it, I can do it. Great. If you can do it, do it.
Right.
But it doesn't end at that. You got to present yourself for the listing when you're about to take it, and you got to sell yourself as the person who deserves to receive that listing. So what my advice to your friend would be as a first timer is learn to communicate.
Right.
You know, eye contact, body language.
So that's
Take
another.
on some classes. You offer some of these classes yourself. If I'm not mistaken.
It's funny you bring that up because like my best friend doesn't have that personality.
Right.
And like I really feel like I told him from the get-go, like I'm so proud of him for taking initiative and moving forward and doing this and taking the classes and learning, but you gotta have it. You gotta have that personality that, you know, like I feel like if I was in real estate, I'd probably be able to do a semi-good job based on personality only.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Is he getting into this because he thinks he can make quick money?
I don't think, I think anyone that goes into any business making quick money is an idiot.
He thinks that he can do well in it. Like he feels that like he has a drive for it, or does he feel like this is like
definitely has a drive for it?
Has, you know,
he's interested in the business, and that's where I think like he's interested in it. He likes houses. He moved out. He moved around a lot. He kind of understands. He sees how much he's paying his agents by doing it. Like he has to deal with different agents. He had a place downtown Toronto. But the point is, I always felt like once he's going to get his license, I'm going to have to help him. Like I'm going to have to like pitch this guy and you know do videos for him and get him out there because I don't feel he's got that personality. And it's nothing against him. He's like my best bud, but I think he's missing something. And I said the same thing about myself because when I went to OREA, I said, I have that personality, but then I was like, I don't know if I could see myself selling myself in this way.
Right.
Like, I drove down Yonge Street. I remember like the day before the exam, I drove down Yonge Street and I saw like these two Asians, you know, an Asian neighborhood and kind of like, you know, Cheech and Chang, whatever it was. I said Cheech and Chang. I kind of said it's a known thing. Anyways, it's a last name. Let's be honest here. Anyways, I saw them and I was like, can I see myself on a billboard going, you know, buy from Ron, you know, I just couldn't see it. I couldn't see myself selling that. And you kind of, in some ways, have to find a way to market yourself for people to really want to call you, right? Because otherwise, you keep going in the same circle with your friends, and you need to be able to get out of it. Well, there's that guy that advertises everywhere. He's Armenian, Gregorian, or something like that. Like Andrew. If you're like the Eglinton area or whatnot, which is the main, you see this guy everywhere. Andrew Corger, whatever. How much money does he possibly spend to put his name everywhere? Like, so I'm thinking this guy is successful. I'm thinking this guy is doing great for himself. Does that usually bring money when you're putting your face everywhere?
You know what it is about the benches and the buses?
Yeah.
It's not, and the website even, it's not meant, that's what people mistaking it. A guy might come in and throw that to a prospective seller, but truly it's not meant to get the seller. It's actually meant to contribute to the clients who are already existing to you for recognition. People who have seen you, done business with you, know you.
That's
then
my real estate agent.
Right, and they'll say that to their friend who's in the car with them or on the bus and say, oh my God, I know that guy. He sold me a house. Yeah. Or he sold my cousin's house. So it's meant for recognition purposes and really word of mouth from there.
Yeah, Revital is saying exactly that, right? But I know, like I've seen you work with Revital, like I think you've worked with her for
I've known her
for many years, but she trusts
one
you.
Of my favorite people
of course, and because she trusts you. And I think it really comes down to trust. But that's always number one. Trusting somebody is always number one.
Well, that's when you let's back up for 1 second and talk about that exact point, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
The question would be when you are listing your home, would you want somebody you don't know who may take advantage of you? Or would you choose somebody you know who you know already from proven record would never take advantage of you? And you know they're an honest person.
Definitely.
So
That's hard.
That's a really hard question
choice.
to answer. Sometimes people say, I want to go with someone I don't know. But how do you know they're going to provide you with that service that you require?
You don't know. You don't
and
know.
not take advantage of you. But if you knew the person and you know they're honest and you know that they would fight for you for the end.
That's key. And you know they're honest. That is the key, though.
But what do you mean you know there's a person who's probably honest as a person, but there's difference when it comes to business.
I know he's honest.
Well, money changes people. The minute I see right now you're talking about a hard time for real estate agents. You know, everyone wants to know. I see all my real estate agent friends taking vacations now. You know, they're like until March, it's completely dead. By April, I'll kind of start to pick up again.
Right.
So you know, right now he's desperate to sell that house. And sometimes that desperation, you know, comes in and all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I got to pay my bills. You know, I got to take care of myself. And I've seen this in businesses where we're talking about little money.
Overall, I can only talk from my own experience.
Right.
I learned very early in my life that especially in a stressful situation, you need to take a deep breath and think and make the right decisions.
Right.
Because once you make the wrong decision, especially in my field, as a listing agent, there's so many shady characters.
Absolutely.
And they can change things on the contract without you even knowing. And make promises to you that they will not fulfill.
Because they count on you not reading that contract.
Right. And you know what I get a lot? For example, when I go fighting for a lot of my clients, I'm really like a pit bull. You can't get me off of you. I'm like a magnet, a leech. You know, and I get a lot of that. Would you be like that with me? And I'm like, of course not.
Yeah.
But you know that I'm going to be a pit bull with everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm like your personal guard dog, and I'm going to protect you in what it is that you want to do. You know, and I'm going to take care of you in the negotiations that need to be placed. You know, and I'm quite proficient, and I don't need to lie, nor do I need to twist the truth. I just know when to shut up.
Right.
You know, and there's different types of closing that we can do. I have a long, extensive background in business, and there's a whole bunch of skills that I've acquired over many years. I feel like this is that movie, you know. What was that movie?
There's a certain set of skills that I've
a
acquired
certain set of skills that I've acquired over many years of dealing with people like you.
I know who you are.
Exactly.
I know where you are, or whatever. Taken, right?
Yeah, Taken.
Yes.
Where's my daughter? Where
if you release her now, I promise not to pursue you. No, I'm just kidding. But
I'd be scared of you for sure.
No, I'm not.
He will totally pursue you.
I never tried to be threatening.
Yeah.
I think my size threatens because I'm 6'5". But truly, I don't try to be threatening. I understand your needs, truly. And that's what it says on my card as well. I want to truly be able to help and to take care of your needs. I'm not looking, I do enough business not to have to fight you for your money. I do enough business to be able to fight them to give you the best deal so I can make something at the end. And another important thing, if you want to give your friend a piece of advice, never think about the money.
Yeah.
Once you've set yourself a standard and you've closed on this deal, whatever it is, think about what you need to do. Set a plan for yourself for what you need to do to advertise this home to get it sold. Because all the convincing in the world, you feel like you've sweated and you've communicated everything, and now you're done because you got the listing. No, now that's where the work actually starts. Now you need to sell the home. Now you need to advertise it. Now you need to work at it. You need to get the exposure for it. You got to go and sell.
So when is it enough? Like, I know that there's certain clients that, you know, they'll drive you crazy. They'll go see like 1,500 houses and, you know, there's always something wrong.
Right.
Like, at what point do you say, you know what, look, I know that you'd bring me good money, but I don't think we're going to be working
Most
together.
agents, after 4 or 5 homes, will give up.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't give up ever.
Okay.
I've had clients who bought with me after 5, 6, even 7 years of looking.
Wow.
So I just don't give up. I'm not the type. I boggle my head. I think of different ways to find that home that the client. Look, there's a lot of agents out there too. They wait for. Like, let's look at the buyer's perspective for 1 second. If you're looking for a certain home and the agent cannot find it because it doesn't come out on the market, most agents sit there and click on their computer, waiting for that house to come out.
Yeah.
Basically, do what you do at home with MLSC.
Now, what would be the hard thing to do for the agent? The hard thing for the agent to do would would go and spend some money, maybe make some flyers and hand it out in the area where my client wants those houses. Maybe have my client choose the houses he wants in the area he wants to be. Maybe me knock on the door regularly. Try to get them to know me. Once they get regular and they get to know me, maybe they like me. Maybe when they want to sell the house, maybe to save on the sale of both ends between seller and buyer, might use me because they might at some point, maybe not now, maybe a year from now, decide they want to sell it, and my buyer is still waiting on the market for that end because they want that particular area. Why not do the work?
Are they looking for, they meaning the clients usually? Like I'll give you an example. Like if I'm in an Asian neighborhood, right? I see like Asian people looking for Asians. Now we live, you see it. If you go right now, like let's just say you try to put your poster right now in Markham,
different demographics,
right? The different. So does it matter? Like for example, like as I said, like when I used to work like in Richmond Hill, Markham area, you would never see a white real estate agent anywhere, any pictures.
Actually, there is a lot.
I haven't seen. I look at these all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing. Like I wanted to know. Like you're in Thornhill.
Right.
And does it help the fact that you are from the neighborhood? And do people think that you know the neighborhood?
So that's a great question.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah, and you made a face. Go ahead.
I always make faces.
No.
Oh, that's just her face. It's okay.
She was afraid of which way you were heading.
Which way? Okay.
I got her.
All right. Thank you.
I
don't have to be racist.
So we're not talking about. Look, we're not going to talk about religions and stuff.
I love Asians. What's
but
wrong
we're
with
going to talk about,
black and yellow?
I think, demographics, and maybe selling your home in one neighborhood and buying in another neighborhood. And you're afraid that the agent you're using might not know the other neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
For example, I had a friend who asked me, I sell, by the way, all over Ontario, and even referred out to the United States. But there's certain areas that I'm not proficient in. So I might look for an agent for you in that area. By doing that, that agent, if they sell you property in that particular neighborhood, they might give me a referral for what they've made. Nothing to do with you. Once they bought something for you, they get their commission. A portion of that will be allocated for me as making that. But I will do the research for you to find out for you who's the good agent there, unless you did it yourself, and that's fine too.
Right.
But as far as I'm personally concerned, I work down the Yonge Bayview line all the way from downtown Toronto to down to Barrie to Orillia. I know a lot of the areas personally. Areas that I don't know, like some waterfronts, I have some great agents I can recommend up north. And I suggest that if you go into a different area, you might want to use a person who works out of that area.
Right.
You know, and I've been asked before, so not just by buyers, but let's say by sellers, if I would take on a listing, and this is a particular one, a friend asked me, would I take a listing out in Oshawa? And I said, you might want somebody from that particular new area that's being built there. They might know the area better, plus that it's easier access for them. Let's say, for example, you listed your house there in Oshawa, and there's a guy that calls me up and says, Max, I just sold my house an hour ago. I got to be out of my house in a week. I need to see it today. And I'm like, dude, I'm in Richmond Hill.
Yeah,
I
so
can make it out to Oshawa to show it to you right now. And he's like, dude, I only have an hour. I'm leaving on a flight tomorrow. I've had that actually happen before. That's why I'm mentioning it. And you would need somebody who's in the local area that can show it to them right away. On top of it, you would want somebody who knows the schools, knows the parks, knows the safe areas. Like if you buy a house, there's a lot of questions you need to answer. Is this close to a grocery shop?
Right.
To shopping? Is this close to a good school?
And you need
What
to trust
rating
the
is the
person
school?
that they're telling you that it's a safe area, that it is a safe area, and they're not just.
Well, there
trying to
is
get
a
to
trust,
sell.
right? I mean, when you do the test, there, like
And that's why
integrity is like a huge part of
Look,
the.
just like we qualify the person, but we qualify them from a perspective is, can they afford a house? Should they buy a house? At this time, maybe a condo is a better choice. Provide the choices that are available. But you as a seller or a buyer, you should be qualifying us in the same mannerism. If you're a seller, you should be qualifying us whether we're honest people, or whether we will do the work that we promised to do for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether I'm a local brokerage, just like you were saying. If you're a buyer, you want to qualify the agent. whether they would charge you for their services or not, because that's actually a big question. And we as agents normally, before making an offer, we would sign you on a buyer agency agreement, which most people don't understand, that they actually commit to a contract. And they're not committing to a contract with me personally, they're committing to a contract with my office. And my office will not release so fast, especially nowadays. Agents are not fast to release people from contracts because the market is a little depressed, you know? And maybe that brings us into the next question, which way the market is heading.
That
was probably
great segue where,
yeah. And a lot of people ask me that. And the direct answer to that is it's obviously depressed today. It's obviously a buyer's market today. Today you really have one type of seller. The ones who are left to, well, actually you have two types. Mainly 80-90% is people who have to sell. And the ones who have to sell, perhaps they put their hand in a cookie jar and they bought something else and now they're stuck with a house. That's a big one, because then they're going to give you a discount on their house, and you find that out through negotiations, then they'll really drop their price. The other type of seller is a seller where they made them, they want to gain on the market. So they might list their house a little bit higher because they have more in their home. Maybe there's a pool, maybe there's a finished basement, maybe it's an attractive street. And they're going to try and sell for higher numbers so that they can take advantage of this depressed market and go into a different one. But 90% is mostly a buyer's market. Now, what does that mean for people who are selling? Because a lot of people are stuck with their homes, they're unable to sell. So for sellers personally, I advise that they talk to their agent about what kind of advertising they're doing and whether the advertising is working for them. And I do very specific advertising for that. I would say try different demographics, different areas, different types of advertising, whether it be flyers, online, paper. So there's different types of things you can do. And even online, there's a million different ways you can do today. I mean, you can pay for it, you can do free.
Instagram,
yeah, you have all the stuff that's free of charge that you can
get a woman who has her butt hanging out and just show a picture. Anything works.
That's a good idea.
I know.
So what we're talking about before, if you remember, we're talking about whether the liberal, if the conservatives take by the end of the year, they might ease up some of the pressure on what the pressure that they put on businesses by the liberals. If they do some of that, and if the stock market continues to be strong, and if there's no world event that affects the market, if conservatives take power by the end of the year, I feel that, of course, nobody really knows. I mean, we don't control the market, okay? But logic says from experience that by the end of the year, there should be a change to the positive.
I actually saw, I'm not cutting you off, but like since we're on the topic, I saw somewhere
4%.
Like I saw somewhere there was, now clearly when you have Facebook, you're getting messages from all over the place. You don't know what's real and what's not, but the projection was that it's going to go up by 4%.
Right. So, actually, people don't know that, but I'm going to give you some statistics as of recent. As of recent, there's a lot less sales, a lot less than last year or the year before or even 5 years ago. It's really one of the worst years.
Okay.
But believe it or not, most areas, and it goes by area, most areas in Toronto have risen in price this year as well.
That makes sense.
I know, it's weird. And the funny thing is, we're kind of stuck because from one end, listings, there's not a lot of people want to list. They're confused about what's happening with the market, or they want the market to go back to the top so they can try and sell it down.
That just shows you how fucked up the real estate is in Toronto right now. Renting, buying, leasing, financing. No matter what you do, you're screwed. No matter what.
Well, I wanna talk a little bit about it. We sort of talked about the pre-production before.
Right. We're not gonna get into that.
We're gonna get into a small part. We're not
what we were talking about.
Sort of. Don't worry, I got this. With regards to renting, why is the rent going up and up and up and up and up? Like it gets to a point where I'm like,
by almost 2%.
No, but like if I wanna, like when I lived in Los Angeles, like I remember in 2007, my apartment was $1,200. I went back, maybe what is it, like 2 years ago,
right?
And it was all of a sudden $1,900. And then I went back to my job to find out how much would I be getting if I went back to that job? And it would have been almost the same, but now I have to pay $1,900, $700 more.
This is in Los Angeles.
This is particularly in LA. But
How
like
about
here,
if
I'm
I
noticing.
told you that the same thing happened here?
No, I
Here.
believe it. I believe it.
The
That's what I'm
place
asking.
that I live
bedroom
in.
apartment. Go ahead.
The place that I live in, I got it for, I think it was around 13 something, and that was like 5 years ago. We're almost at $2,000 at this point. Like it's insane.
I don't understand. Like how.
Allow me to explain.
Okay. Yes, this is
I'll
what the
explain
show's
to you
about.
exactly
of course.
what had happened.
Okay.
What had happened since then, and why this happened so far. I could see it coming before it even happened. Agents who work in the field, just not because I'm so great, but because agents are able to see this coming. We had a lack of listings, first of all, so the building had stopped. If you notice, there's not a lot of building projects going on in North York or Thornhill or Richmond Hill. There's a lot of new buildings that already came up, but there's very few buildings that are coming up right now as we speak, or being built as we speak right now. That's because the builders generally are a little confused about the market themselves. They're looking at the market and it's been depressed for 2 years now, and they're saying, hold on a second. And they're thinking the same thing I think I'm telling you, which is what happens by the end of the year? Is it going to be a major world event? Are conservatives or liberals going to stay in power? Is there going to be a change in that? Is the stock market going to change? And these are big influencers of what the market is going to do and whether people will have money or not.
Or where they can price
So
their places.
that's one thing. So you have a lack of building. Okay, you have an inflow, and I don't want to lie. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's a large number per month, and I know it's in the tens of thousands of immigrants. And this doesn't have to be refugees. I'm talking about general immigrants into Canada, and most of them want to settle in Toronto because it's the major player right now, right?
Yep.
So you have all this inflow of all these people and not enough housing for them. So all the rentals buildings downtown, for example, are overflowing with government assistance.
Yeah.
And then the overflow is going to the rental market. On top of that, so you have an influence of people, not enough building, and on top of that, you have the issue of minimum wage.
Yeah.
Minimum wage has gone up how much in the last 3 years?
Well, $4, $3.
A lot, right?
Yeah. Yep.
People can afford more.
Yeah.
You think landlords are not going to take advantage of that
Well,
as
of course.
a whole? So there's not enough available in the market
Yep.
as a listings for rent. Plus, so many people are buying for themselves because it's still within affordability levels to buy for yourself because of the mortgage rates. Because the mortgage rates, let's be honest, have been depressed for the last 20 years. If I tell you in the late 80s, the average mortgage rate was 17 or 18%.
That's crazy.
Do you know how much of your payment you're actually receiving back into your principal payment of your home? Almost nothing. I mean, you're paying $2,000, you're getting $200 back.
Yeah.
From what's coming down from your principal each and every month. But today, when you're looking at these depressed rates, basically half of what you're paying is coming down from your principal amount that you're paying into each and every month. So people are still buying for themselves, but the ones who buy for themselves mostly are unable to buy a second or third property. They were able to do it 5-6 years ago. A lot of people who did saw the heightened market. A lot of people sold off to private people who bought it for themselves. So there's not a lot of availability for rent. So there's not a lot of people who are landlords. The foreign buyers is what we're hoping is going to come back. Because those foreign buyers, they buy for future perspective. So they'll buy maybe by the end of the year. If the market comes back, they'll buy by the end of the year, and that will open the market to more rentals. And that will push down the prices a little bit. Because I think they went up a little bit too fast. But if this continues to be depressed and not enough building, and so many inflow of people into Toronto and area, you're going to develop a market in which it's going to be like Manhattan. You know, you're going to end up a rental of 1,200 square feet for $6,000-7,000 a month.
Right. Now, and I could see us going towards that direction. I mean,
We are heading towards that direction.
Well, right now, like downtown Toronto, you'll get a 400 square foot, even a bachelor right now, you're looking at like $1,250 a bachelor.
Yeah.
And that's 350
I
square
might
feet.
move into the studio because I can't afford anything
And
else.
this studio is
You know,
about
it's funny.
600 square feet.
The new trend,
But say that it's 20 feet ceiling.
20
so
foot
yeah, so
ceiling.
it's pretty
it's not
nice.
actually a
He
new trend,
can,
but
he can build a second floor.
There you go.
the trend over the last 5-6 years has been with a lot of middle-aged people, single, not single, small family, one child, end up moving into their parents' homes. Or the parents are forced to maybe build another, if they have the capability, extension to the home.
Or
That's where you
basement.
see these shows like Little Houses on television,
Yeah.
on HGTV, right?
Those are great shows, by the way.
Yeah. No, but like even myself,
I'm claustrophobic. I couldn't live in a house like that. I mean, if I have to bend my head in the house,
I can't have my bed on like the 4th floor of the house. It's not happening. My bed can't even be on the actual box spring. It has to be on the floor.
No, but I'm looking. I'm going to be 40 soon, you know, and like maybe I'm not the best example, but you know, before the divorce, you know, like I had a nice condo like in Queens and all that, and all of a sudden, after divorce, gave everything away, and now like I'm kind of back into the situation where okay, fine, I wanna rent like a new space, but it's ridiculously expensive. Like it's to a point where I'm like, what's the point? I need to be with somebody to be able to afford it.
Yeah.
On my own, like it's almost impossible with the not the salary that I'm making, but I'm not able to save. Emergency. So
okay,
what is really the point?
So here's an agent's perspective and advice for you. Mm-hmm. As agents, we're a lot of times able to connect people. Mm-hmm. So we're not just in the business of connecting you with the property. We're also in the business of connecting people with people. Mm-hmm. So maybe, for example, I have clients who have purchased commercial or retail spaces for me before, and some of those spaces then don't use. Mm-hmm. So if a client such as yourself would call me up, a friend, and would say, Max, you know, I'm looking for a space, I would say, you know what? And I'm only looking to spend so much, and I need this much space. I would get the details from you, and maybe I would make 1 or 2 or 3 phone calls to see if I can connect you with another person. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, to us, that's like facing water in a store, putting it up at cost so that you can buy the steak in the back. Mm-hmm. Meaning, I might introduce you to a friend, you guys might connect. I'm not going to take any fee for that.
Right.
But maybe one
day,
because I did a favor, maybe you'll remember me.
Of course.
Maybe you'll consider me. This is hypothetical, but I'm happy to help on that end because this is not exactly what I do. Mm-hmm. And if I can save you maybe a couple of dollars and you connect with a person, you know, and that's probably a good way to do it for you. Now, that also depends on location because a lot of times people who are in business, such as yourself, want to be in a certain location. So I might have some contacts for you. They might be out of location, but I might contact some other agents or friends of mine that I know have the same contacts as me, talk to them, and see what they can find. The long story short for agents, it's a conversation. Mm-hmm. It's a conversation with everyone. Mm-hmm. Everybody has something to offer. Nothing is ever taken away.
So what do you need to kind of finish this off? Because we're an hour into it, believe it or not. We're an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, an hour and 10 minutes.
It felt like 5 minutes.
Right, 5 minutes. What are the skills? What are those basic skills that an agent needs to have or a broker needs to have to be able to really succeed in this industry?
Number 1, education.
Okay, education.
You obviously need the education to get the license.
Right, so you need to know what's what. You've got to be able to answer the questions.
Right. Mm-hmm. The skill that you acquire really over a long, and it's really a trial and error basis. There's a lot of things that you can do to try and help you. I gave you some great pointers. Right. I told you online really works. Mm-hmm. You got to spend the money to be able to do it. Mm-hmm. The free sites are great. A lot of people use them, but it's better if I'm conducting a direct demographic, and geographic area. So who I want to target for this type of home? For example, I mean, if I'm selling a condo in downtown Toronto, I might look for or advertise in Uptown for people who want to be more in the downtown core. So maybe they want to be on Bay Street, in the financial district, or in the fashion district, or in the sports district. Right? There's so many districts there now today. And specifically, you know who's coming from Wood. So if you're in the fashion district, you might go a little more west on King Street and advertise there, for example. Mm-hmm. You know, so and there's ways to do it online. So online is a good way to do it. Flyers is a great way to do it. My wife is in the sign business, and she provides. And it's not like I get a big discount because there's very small margins in what they make. But I do a lot of advertising. I do a lot of whether it's open houses and signage and advertising via. Especially flyers. Mm-hmm. I don't, if I can give a piece of advice, if somebody is doing flyers in the real estate business, the piece of advice that I would give is make your own flyer and send it off. Don't be a part of a package. Right. A part of like 30 other people in a package that goes directly. Most people throw that out. They don't even look at it. But if your flyer is sitting in the door, they'll give it a quick look. That exposure right there.
Those people that like, I mean, this is something that bothers the people that knock on your doors.
Go door to door.
Like, but I see them and I'm like, dude, I'm not interested. Like, I'd rather, do people actually...
You're not interested until the day you're interested.
Really? So you think those...
We know that.
Yeah, okay.
You're thinking right now, I'm not willing to sell, nor do I want to be bothered.
Yeah.
So no soliciting is going to be the sign on my door. But one day, you might decide, you know what, I'm interested in selling. And I don't want to pay all these commissions to all these agents. I know what I want for the house. And you might decide that day to take the no soliciting sign down.
Oh, gotcha.
And just for a week or two, try and see if somebody will come knocking on your door. You know, the problem today with that as well is even when we're listing a house, we actually have a section that you're supposed to sign whether you want to be solicited to by agents after the listing is sold or expired. Why? Because you don't want to be bothered by agents who make empty promises. A lot of agents are looking for opportunities to knock on your door. And really, they're not even allowed to by law. Most people don't know that. Because you signed
last year.
Because you signed, right? So you have the Privacy Act, right? So there's a section there that you signed, and agents, but they play games with it, and they want to get to you, and this is how they get business. In a depressed market, it becomes more and more obvious.
Right.
You know, and now you're going to have 20 agents knocking on your door because they know this area is in high demand, but you're not willing to sell, but they'll try to get to you.
My last question is, I noticed like a lot of people are joining teams.
Right.
Like I'm seeing where it's like, how beneficial is it to be a part of a team? Like one of my good friends also online, he advertises, he does a really good job making videos. So Vadim just put it out there. But how important is it to join a team? Would you recommend it, or would you say, you know what, do it on your own, make those mistakes on your own?
I think you have to try. If you're trying on real estate, is really, I believe, a one-on-one type of situation. Let's say, even if you're part of the team, does the whole team show up
No.
to talk to you about your listing your
Definitely
house?
not.
Or
No,
do you
it's
get
gonna be
like
the
a
one
specific
person,
person for that person's needs?
So
But is it usually the leader, or is it everybody?
So normally it would be the leader of the team who
Depending
would
on
try
the
and come
house.
and close you. Or you provided your own listing to the leader of the team and you've worked on a certain percentage with them. Some people work better in a team setting. And some people work better in an individual setting. I believe in team settings, but I believe my team is my clients and buyers, my friends, my family, the people I come across in my life, my circle of friends, my circle of people that I meet.
You don't have to rely on that person. You don't have to kind of put your faith in that individual and not to muck up the sale or whatever.
I just find personally that what I would do for myself, and I give 100%, people who work with me know that, I give truly 100% of myself to them.
Well, you
to
can
try and
hold
help.
yourself accountable.
But I
you
don't
can't
find
hold someone else.
I don't find that other people,
Yeah.
because other people would put other things in front.
Of course.
You know, like
You
they want to
can't
go to the
control
basketball
them.
game, so then I'm going to make that extra showing today. No, I would sell off my ticket and I would go to the show.
Just to note that today is the All-Star game, and you decided to come, and you're a big basketball fan.
I am, and I know you are.
I am. See the dedication
so
behind
we'll
it.
Catch the highlights later tonight.
Yeah, a wedding would not stop me from going.
Oh
to the show.
yeah, I knew he was going to throw that on my face. I'm going to a wedding next week, guys. I won't be here. So in case you didn't realize, this is our last show until Ron's back from Thailand and his sex fest.
Sex fest? It's not going to be a sex fest. It's going to be island hopping. Or maybe.
Hopping.
Yeah.
Just make sure you get all your shots
he said
before
he's
you
going there for the scenery.
Yeah, island hopping.
You guys are not going to let go of me and the lady boys, right?
Who said anything about?
Because you kept saying that over and over again.
You said that now. I didn't mention it just now.
Be honest, since honesty and integrity, how many times has she said the lady boys?
I said that beforehand.
You know,
that's the point.
You had to mention it on the air.
Because I've been to
so
Thailand
you
before.
just.
Anyways,
I don't take sides in a marriage.
What?
I don't take sides in a marriage.
Thank you very much.
Thank God
we're not married.
Absolutely, you are. You're the prickly pear.
That's right. Max, this was amazing. Ron, who actually watches the show regularly, literally wrote that by far the best guest that you've had. And I do believe that you basically handled yourself very well.
That's why I'll be seeing him again next week without Ron.
Right, they're going to a wedding. Yeah, tell his wife that. There you go.
It's okay, I'll be seeing
Max,
her too.
Thank you very much for really coming on the show.
Honestly,
I've learned a lot, to be quite honest, and now I'm thinking like, you know what? Somebody asks me, but it's not like I haven't recommended you to. It's more along of my family, because I always worry. It doesn't matter, even if they make money, somehow I'm going to be at fault. Somehow something's going to happen where I just kind of, you know what? You deal with it. I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Truly, I appreciate what you're saying, and thank you very much. But I believe everybody is allowed to make money.
Yep.
No, everybody has to have an income, and everybody has to be able to provide for the family.
Sure, no question.
So if you're able to provide for yours, that's great. And your friend who's coming into the business, if he does the right steps, he might be successful as well. Not everybody works in the same area. There's a lot of business available for everyone. With the number of houses or ownership that is now available on the market, there's enough business out there for everyone. And I hope that you'll never get upset at using a friend or a friend of a friend for any type of business that you need, because I find I'll be taken care of.
The reality,
I hope you feel the same.
No, I definitely do. I think that if it has to do with me, the person, it's one thing. I think it has to do with, my parents or someone that I know. I kind of feel responsible. We put up your business card online. There you go. So that's what we're working with right now. Okay, so if anybody has any questions or they want to, contact Max directly, the number is there. Why don't we say it? So it's 416-644-844. Oh, 844. See, I can't see from here. 844-2095. Right, that I can see. That the 6 looked like an 8 from here.
Absolutely.
Or 905-764-3433. Did I get that one right? My vision. My vision. I don't need my.
You're good. I can't see anything.
Thank you very much. And you're wearing glasses. Well, then it is what it is.
That's why I'm wearing.
Why don't we go back a little bit into the rest of the show?
Yeah.
Maybe people will still have questions to ask, which they can.
Well, we can talk about something we can put into this new house that you're going to buy from Max.
Okay.
We're going to talk about.
I need money first and a good credit. So
good credit.
Yeah,
let's start with the conversation and see where it leads.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Take us.
But before that, or after that, I guess you get your credit checked out and you come out in the black, right? In the black.
I don't know.
I will say that credit is probably one of the more important things to have when you're looking for a home.
No question. No question.
So definitely a fair enough of a deposit nowadays, because the banks also, they qualify you from a mortgage perspective, not by just how much you make. They have a stress test. So they actually qualify you.
So they put you up on one of those Scientology machine things, and then you hold on to them, and you're like, say a bunch of stuff, and whatever, like, stresses you out. Like if you say money, they're like, oh, they can't afford
Just keep saying Tom Cruise and you'll find.
Right.
No.
So let me just say something about that. The mortgage rates today. Look, I'm not a mortgage broker, and you should definitely get a mortgage advice from a professional. But I'll give you some quick general information. Just
Robert Solgano, great guy, great mortgage broker.
Absolutely, one of my good friends.
There you go.
And the average mortgage for a closed mortgage nowadays, not variable, closed mortgage, is a 5-year term, 25-year amortization for people who understand that, at about 3.5% to 3.8%. That's the average mortgage today. But you might pay that as your payment for your mortgage, but they qualify you, the banks, as if you're paying 5 to 5.5%.
So more than you actually have.
Exactly.
So you have to have an excess of money in order to afford said mortgages.
Right. So if you're someone who makes $60,000 to $80,000 a year, now you got to be qualified as somebody who makes $100,000 to $120,000 because of this. It depends on the size of the house you want. That's why the qualifications is also different numbers, somewhere between 5 and 5.5. Depends on the size of the house that you're looking for.
I will be moving to your nearest storage locker.
Yeah. No, credit for me is the one thing. Like in the States, I have perfect credit, and here
not so much.
Yeah, so always watch your credit and always build your credit.
Yeah.
And if you had some issues in the past, you can definitely fix them within 6 months. It's not such a long period of time. But a lot of people think I'm going to have to wait 7 years because I had some issue.
Yeah.
No, there's programs that you can actually get professional consultation. I suggest you consult with your mortgage broker and accountant. Those are the two that can probably give you the best advice about where to go to clean your record if you have a bad one. And the places to check, you can go to Equifax.com and check in their website what's your credit score. No, that one is not free. There's a free one I can provide you next time I come. I actually have 2 other ones. I don't have them with me right now. But Equifax is the one that I trust the most. It's only $20, I believe, or $22 that you have to pay to get you. But that actually gives you a breakdown of what the problem is. See, the other ones don't give you the problem. The other websites you go into, they give you the score, and then that's it. You're done.
Good luck figuring out where the problem lies.
Exactly. With Equifax, for that $20 or $22, I'm not advocating for Equifax. I have no connection to that whatsoever.
No, it gives you the details you need.
But it gives me a detailed reaction. What did I miss? Was I late on a visa payment? Was there an issue with some sort of a company that I didn't pay on time? And that might affect your credit score.
Mine collections from 25 years ago when I was a teenager and I forgot about it.
I think you were 20.
And I'm not talking about myself. I'm just talking about like in general.
Got it.
Yeah.
Right.
I was gonna say.
I am 20.
Yeah, you're 20.
Is there any questions that people want to ask that they want to ask?
I don't know if people. Yeah, there wasn't really many questions. Just people tuning in. What's going on here? Liking, people listening. So that's good. We had, some really good people. Ari Glazas, you know who that is?
Iglesias, yes.
Yeah, Iglesias, yes.
My cousin
is he
singer.
related to Enrique?
Somebody,
It's my
somebody
favorite
mentioning
son.
that someone should go to you if you're looking for, to help you with real estate. So, but you're getting a lot of
We
recommendations.
got some cool
and clearly
people
Rev,
watching too.
yeah, and Rev was
see you
writing
next
the
week.
entire
so much,
time. Who?
We got
The
friends
brother?
watching.
Yeah.
We got friends watching.
Gotcha.
We see you.
So why don't we go into finishing up the show?
Yeah, so
I might
speaking
have
of-
a show next week
By himself.
without you because I feel like I don't want to say goodbye. this
Or
way.
you know what? Or
Or-
what you can do is you can have the show next week, and then I can WhatsApp in, and then you can have a drunk me on WhatsApp just leaning right here.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I want
Right
you
here.
drunk on my show. That's exactly what we're gonna have.
That would be so
I can barely
awesome.
handle your cursing, but somehow I'm gonna have you as a drunk.
When I'm drunk, I don't curse.
Of course not.
I'm just a trucker that's asleep.
And that's exactly what I want to see on the show.
Well, anyways, going back to the things you can put into your new house after you buy it from Max.
Yep.
Ford has invented a bed that will push your significant other back to their side. How awesome is that?
Ford?
Ford.
I didn't even know Ford was in the bed business.
I didn't either, but apparently they just invented a bed that will push your significant other back to their side, because even with a king size bed, somehow they want to sleep exactly where you are.
Right. How about Ford should come up with also how to warm up a woman's feet rather than have us to be right? You know what I mean, right? Where it's like they somehow feel like their cold feet have to touch me to make me feel
well, they have
too.
that.
I just don't get it.
Before you guys end the show and I get in trouble, can I say hello to my kids at home?
Yeah, of course.
Of course you may.
Elizabeth, Ari, Sasha, I love you very much. Rudder, you're beautiful. That's my lovely wife.
Oh yeah, we know her really well.
Thank you so much, guys, and thank you very much for having me.
Hey, of course. This has been a pleasure, and
awesome.
we're speaking on not just for Ron, but like I really felt like I learned. Truthfully, I'm starting.
says I want that bed. I'll send you the link, girl. Don't you worry. I'll send him home with the link.
I feel like like with each week the guests are becoming better and better, and it's easier. But like the one thing I could compliment you on is you're just able to provide information. It seems flawless, and it seems like it's coming from a real place. I think that's what people really want. It's not a sales pitch, and that's what you feel like you're getting today. People look like they're desperate after that again to get that money. Like I keep seeing on benches 1%, or 1.5%. I'm like, yeah, he's clearly desperate.
Your next house is something sold.
Truly, First of all, thank you so much.
Of course.
And you're a dear friend of mine, and I've known you for many years and have a lot of respect for you. And I hope I made a new friend today.
Yeah, of course.
And
I let you sit next to her, didn't I? So.
And on the other side of it, what you were just saying about the benches.
Yeah.
Everybody is allowed to advertise.
Sure.
The point for agents is to come into your home and introduce themselves to you.
Right.
And think of it more like a lot of people are scared from the word business, or they're thrown off by the word salesperson. We don't advocate for the word salesperson. I'd like to think of us more like people who introduce you to information that you actually require. I don't think myself as a broker or a salesperson. I think of myself as a connector between people and property. And I think that the ones who advertise for 1%, they're just trying to get their foot in the door.
Right.
Give everybody a chance. That's my advice. And if you really want to know and you don't know, ask questions of people who have done business in that aspect of where you want to live, through friends, through family, through internet today is easy. You can do searches. You can actually search people and get what their qualifications are and whether they did good or bad
and to see if they're bullshitting or not.
Exactly. So do a little bit of research.
Google
Ask
is
some
your friend.
Well, it's funny.
So
I brought up my friend before, and I felt in some ways I was bringing him down, which was not the point. I just felt that he needed that push.
Not at all. I felt like you were advocating.
I wanted to succeed. This is one of my best buddies, and I want him to do well. Do you have a mentorship program, like something where like somebody who's new to the business?
I don't have a mentorship.
Like something where like you would offer.
I've taken people on before, which have helped to make sales from themselves.
Right.
And sometimes I was a part of it as well because they wanted me to come in and negotiate. But my real talent is from people I don't know is trying to close them.
Right.
I never say succeed. I say do my job. Let me go to work so I can try and do something for you. From there, I do the best I can to be able to close it. So the point is at the end of the day. But I appreciate your loyalty to your friend as well. And I appreciate you opening it up and talking to me about it so I could introduce you to some options that you didn't know about before. Like, for example, using an experienced agent with your friend. So maybe he can give him some pointers or maybe they can do some work together. And everybody can be happy as a package. The only problem becomes is when, and there is a possibility for taking on 3, 4, 5, 6 agents, it becomes messy.
Right.
Everybody has an opinion and everybody wants to do it their way.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Exactly.
Everything.
But if you're taking on 2 friends, it's never an issue and everybody's happy and everybody gets an opportunity. And I always say it's not about the amount of money. It's whether I make $1, $100, or $10,000. At the end of the day, I'm trying to do what I do best. And I'm not thinking about the money till the last day. And I'm not making money, really. Remember, we're commissioned. Unless I produce for you the way you ask me to produce and require me to produce, I'm just not going to get that. But again, I'm sidetracking again. Thank you very much.
No, there's nothing to sidetrack. We brought you here for that very reason.
I like the fact that you're saying that because once you do get the house and or the condo and you want to have still have a great connection and relationship with your broker, just ensure that you don't throw a chair off your balcony and endanger the lives of people underneath you, because that wouldn't be good for your credit rating or, your police record.
We have also people looking in, so we have your wife and Ophir who also watches the show. Ophir, you're more than welcome to come on the show next week if you want to sit next to me. Just be prepared and don't be a chicken the way, last time I asked him to come on the show to assist.
Oh, really?
He's like, because he's a big talker behind the scenes, but to sit here, it's a little bit different.
I'm sure
it's a little, I want him to, I want him to.
If he knows you, he's got it for sure.
Well, that's the thing. And hi, Aiden. I love his son. So why don't we close off with it's Family Day.
Oh, yeah.
Family Day coming up.
Actually, it's
Happy Family
Random
Day,
Act of Kindness Day today. And it's Cabbage Day. Or, as we like to say, Galupsi Day.
Galupsi? Yeah.
Pay it forward with a vegetable.
Yeah, it's the worst vegetable. I don't know.
What are you talking about? If you want to lose weight,
I would rather have the pepper. The pepper roll, the pepper one. Yeah, it's not peppers because I like the pepper, but the cabbage. I hate the smell.
When my wife makes that,
look,
you gotta come to my house. You don't understand.
There's something about the smell of cabbage. I understand.
It's so good.
It's the cabbage. I don't like the smell of the cabbage. It's it smells like socks to me.
Dude, at my house it smells like chocolate. Come over sometime.
Maybe I should just have chocolate and forget the cabbage.
Have galupsi that tastes like chocolate. It'll blow your mind.
I actually want to try galupsi that tastes like chocolate. That'll be galupsi is cabbage rolls. For those that don't know, it's 3 Russians at the table.
And for Russians, that would have a chocolate that tastes like galupsi.
Oh, that would be awful. You guys are the worst when it comes to chocolates. Those weird ones that you open, like you know what I'm talking about? Like they come in and they're folded in a weird way, and there's like a squirrel animal on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Dude,
that Russian candy that they put out that's disgusting. I don't know what it's called, but it's like all Russian food to me tastes like war food.
Those big chocolate things.
Oh, I know what it's kind of like marshmallowy.
I don't know. There's like all many, but anyways, it doesn't matter. But I wanted to close off with Family Day.
But you said it's small cactus, big cactus.
Well, just before that, because it's
but
random acts of
big cactus is Family Day.
You're gone next week, right?
Yeah.
All right. Take it away. Take it away. Take it away. It's yours. Go ahead.
I know it is.
Go ahead. Take it away. I'll be quiet.
No. Well, I was going to say Small Cactus is the new Aladdin movie. And the reason I say Small Cactus is because I don't know if you saw the Smurf in the commercial.
Will Smith?
Oh, was that?
It was Will Smith.
Oh, is that who it was?
Come on. You expecting to see it, then it's probably more for kids than it is for us.
But it is for us.
No, it's not. It's not really for us.
Yes, it is.
It's for the new generation. Because you have Lion King that's coming out. You have Aladdin. By the way, why are they releasing everything at once? Like Dumbo, Lion King, Aladdin.
Live action.
What do you mean?
Everything is becoming live action.
That's what people want. And it's like 3D and
I'm going to ask you a serious question. It's a funny serious
question. Okay, all right.
It's not really funny.
All right.
A true question that I had, I was talking to my wife about.
Okay.
Why don't they make, heartfelt movies anymore? I'm going to give you an example.
Okay, yeah.
How about The Notebook?
What do you mean about
a movie like The Notebook?
They do.
What do you mean they don't
Hallmark.
make these types of movies?
I watch a heartfelt movie at least 4 times a week. Hallmark comes out with
dancing.
that 4 times a week.
Oh, you mean like a popular one,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
something with
everything
a
today is like almost like Marvel and and DC.
But you're talking. Look, who is paying?
Everything is action.
It makes sense.
Even for kids.
You have to ask. Well, you have to ask yourself, who is paying for this, right? And like, I mean, who is going to the movie theaters? And not only that, it's not just about the movie anymore. It's about selling products afterwards, right? Like toys. What are you gonna do? Dirty Dancing to
Don't
toys?
Don't get me wrong. I love action.
No, but that's
big time.
I don't watch any of those.
Sell pools.
What?
Once
Dirty
in the blue
Dancing.
moon.
Yeah, no, but that's back in the
Once
day.
in the blue moon, and I'll tell you what. I even have a favorite actor.
Yeah.
That I refer to all the time. And funny enough, you can say anything you want, but he's got like the top 3 movies ever.
Okay.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Okay.
Why? Most people don't think of him that way, but he's got Top Gun.
Amazing
Okay,
movie.
all right. Great movie, but not in my category. But go
Okay,
ahead.
what other 2 movies does he have?
What other? Mission Impossible?
No.
He's got, what? Oh, you're talking about...
No, movies that you can get a lesson
Interview with the
Oh,
Vampire.
Rain Man, I really like. I like Rain Man.
Rain Man.
Rain Man is a great movie.
That's the second one.
Okay, yeah.
What's the third one? That's got all the lines that you ever say to a girl now.
Show me the money!
But it's not.
Jerry Maguire.
Look,
You had me at hello.
Yeah,
Show
yeah.
me the money.
I know.
Help
You can't
me
sell anybody
help
unless you love everybody. There's so many lessons, and I want to be able to show them to my kids. My son tells me, "What movie should I watch?" And I'm like, "Dude, Rain Man."
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire. You
Yeah,
know?
these are great
These are
movies.
movies with
Amazing.
lessons. Rain Man is an amazing flick. I mean, that's
But
the
wait,
Hoffman.
but what's the lesson in Rain Man? What's the lesson in it?
Brotherly love, family.
Wow.
You're on family day today, my friend, and you don't know the lesson.
No, because at the beginning he didn't
Give
really
him
want
an
to
easy
be with
one.
it.
If he
Exactly.
said
It felt like it was a
Independence Day, he
nuisance.
would've
At the end of the
understood.
day, happy family day to everyone, and family first, my friend. And
100%.
business
100%.
can
Second.
come after. Okay?
100%.
If you have
100%.
family, you have everything.
Absolutely
Yeah,
right.
well,
Everything.
I agree, and it's funny because family doesn't have to be just your immediate family blood. Could be friends, as you know,
I
paying
have
another homage
friends
to Tyson.
who are literally family.
Yeah.
I've known for basically more than my life, and I wouldn't.
You've known them
know-
more than your life.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
more than I've been alive, basically.
You-
Shut up.
You've known them
I'm
more.
tired.
Very tired, apparently. It's
Most of my
not
life.
making
Sorry.
any sense. It's okay. It's all right.
Shut up. I'm exhausted. I'm not feeling good. Be happy I'm here. Okay?
Ecstatic.
Most of my life, and I wouldn't picture life without them. Like, you know, we've gone through the shittiest times together. They've seen you at your worst, and
Mm-hmm.
those are, you know, what do they say about friends? Friends are a chosen family.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
So without my chosen family, I'm nothing because they give me the strength when I don't even think I have it.
I think that I'm going to go a little bit morbid on here, like yeah, a little bit. So I apologize, but it's reality, and it's funny because I heard something lately, many times, people saying, you know, something you would teach your kid. So you have 3 wonderful kids, and something that you would teach them. It's like how to live without you, and right, like meaning making them independent to live without you. And there's something to be said about that. That I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's true that at one point you're not going to be around. At one point our friends are not going to be around. So appreciate everything about the people that are there with you. And like, you know, during these days where Tyson just passed, and you know, I have many friends who passed over the year, and my aunt passed away this year. I mean, it's just hold on to your family members a little bit closer, and really appreciate it, because you never know. I mean,
Yeah, my great aunt
could
passed away last week.
you could be gone. My condolences.
Yeah.
It could be gone, you know, and in a matter of seconds. And those little fights that we have with people, you know, those, you know, oh, they piss me off or whatnot. It's so not worth it. And keep those people closer, and try your best to, you know what, to be a better friend and a better family member. And you know, I want to wish everybody to have an amazing Family Day weekend. Enjoy
Hug your
tomorrow.
loved ones.
You never know. Today could be the last time. Again, it sounds morbid, and I know, but it's just one of those things where when you're young, our parents try to protect us from death. You know, and now we reach a point, you know, closer to 40, and you're seeing people just dying off. It's becoming a little bit too real for us.
Yeah.
And I'm actually very happy that there is a Family Day, that the government of Canada has agreed to have. Yes, we need another long weekend, of course, but a day to appreciate.
Thank you for
to be with
creating
our
it
family.
10 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful.
We
When I was living
appreciate
in Los Angeles and New York, like I didn't have it, but
I
just
want
one
to
of those-
listen. I consider my friends part of my extended family as well. So happy family.
Happy family day, of course.
Family day.
He was talking to me, by the way.
No, I'm sure.
Stop. I have to. You see,
Why like that?
Because she
Why
tries
like
to
that?
get me, so I figured
You can't help it.
I have to. I have to give it to her
He
right
says
back.
tries.
You gotta pick
I
at it.
try.
That's why he
'Cause
tries
he,
to get me back. I get him,
Yeah.
and he tries
You know what?
to get me
I
back,
mean,
and then he
it's
says,
out of
I
love.
You
try
know what
to
it
get
is?
him.
It's a reaction of a single guy, but that's between us.
The reaction of a single guy, I wouldn't even take it that direction. But nonetheless,
You see whose friend he is more now? All it took was an hour and a half. The more you know.
I don't even know what we're talking about here, but all right.
He's more my friend than yours now.
Oh, sure. You want to close off in some way? Do you want to have a final message?
Sure. I honestly, you guys, we were being serious. We were joking around, but we truly hope you have an amazing family day. Enjoy it with your family. If you hate your family, enjoy it by yourself with a bottle of scotch or whiskey or whatever. Just don't go drinking after, because nobody needs that.
Way to promote alcoholism. Just go
no,
drinking.
I said don't go drinking
It's
and
like
driving.
JMB can be family too.
Jeez, it can be.
Russian
As long as you're
standards,
doing
near
it
enough.
safe.
Absolutely, your best friend.
Yes, Crown Royale, Apple. Yeah, baby. Do it up. But anyways, we'll be doing that next week. I have a bottle waiting for me at the table because my friends know what I like to drink. Anyways, I will definitely not be back next week. Ron will possibly be back with Ophir if Ophir decides to.
Yeah, Ophir, it's a challenge right now. You watch the show all the time. You want to come on?
Down and,
here's your opportunity.
Be me for the weekend. Just make sure you have your tits out with some red lipstick and get your hair done. If you want, I'll leave the hairspray here for you. In order if you want to get some volume or not. But,
how do you know I'm not going to use the hairspray?
I have a feeling you won't use the hairspray since you use the mousse.
No, I don't have hair.
You guys have me off Ophir. Is Ophir a guy or a girl?
Ophir is a guy.
Just the way she's saying it.
Oh, no. She's just trying to...
As a matter of fact, this is how I conduct my news story.
So on behalf of my co-host, my amazing guest, we bid you a very good night. And until next week.